I am coming to you today from Ecuador. I've traveled all the way from the UK back to South America, and it's been a crazy journey, you know. I left Peru in April of 2020 when this global pandemic happened, and for the last 9 months it's been an interesting process. I was back working in Amazon, the warehouse. It's a beautiful experience to meet amazing people, you know. But it got to a point where I could no longer breathe, and I was tired of the same mundane situations every single day, and I felt like I was suppressed and I couldn't flow with myself. I couldn't be my true self, you know. And I kept having this burning desire and sensation to leave and embark back onto a journey, what I've been doing for the last few years. So I decided to. I booked my ticket to come to Peru, and every single person was like, "You're crazy, you cannot leave the country. All flights are grounded. You will never be able to leave and escape. Don't ever become paralyzed by fear. Just because somebody else says that you can't do it, it doesn't mean that you cannot achieve it." And I'm a living example of this. I went to the jungle on my own in 2017 to embark on a journey to discover myself. A few years later, I've been back and forward a few more times to go deeper into these plant medicine journeys, and today I would like to discuss an experience I had on Saturday night with San Pedro, also known as Wachuma, the cactus. I have drunk with San Pedro a couple of times in the past. It's always been a beautiful experience. San Pedro is masculine, so it's very good for opening the heart. But this time was very, very different. This time was just a journey which I found it hard to put the words together to express what really happened in that journey. It was raining most of the day, and with this San Pedro ceremony, we were going to drink the medicine, connect to the medicine, and at 4 o'clock in the morning we were supposed to go to the Temazcal, which is the sweat lodge. And I was like, it's raining, it can't be possible. How are we going to go in the sweat lodge? There's too much rain, we can't make a fire in this rain. Well, I was wrong. I was wrong to have any doubts in my mind whatsoever, because we got a fire going, a big, beautiful fire. It was an amazing fire. So the night started as we all sat on the floor, and we all were in the space happily and peacefully, as the shaman who comes from the mountains, he very rarely leaves where he is, was saying a prayer over us and asking us what our intentions are for the ceremony. I set my intentions and I put them towards the fire. We always have a fire when we drink San Pedro, because the way how the medicine works is we drink and we stare into the fire, and the fire is what kind of shows us what we're looking for. So we drink the medicine, we go into process, go into the journey, the songs start, and the shaman put it very beautifully. The reason why there's a drum and there's a rattle involved in the ceremony is because the drum signifies the heartbeat of the mother when you're in the womb, and the rattle is like the blood pulsating through the veins. So it makes a lot of sense the way how he explained it. I've never had it explained like that before, so it was very, very beautiful. So we go into process, we start to slowly fall into the world of San Pedro. Now normally San Pedro is very earthbound. I find it really connects you to the earth around you, but this time it was very cosmic-y. Like when I drink ayahuasca, you know, you go deep into visions and you go to that other place. With Wachuma, it seemed to be a very similar journey. It was very, very beautiful. Now the amazing thing what the shaman did is he all gave us a handful of different plants. And this is a little bit into the ceremony, so the San Pedro had taken its, woken up inside of us as such, so our senses were heightened. So with each plant, we were told to break it up in our hands and sniff it, and to connect to our senses, to really feel which plant, the healing ability of each plant, the way how you can smell the scents, and they're able to connect to certain parts of your body, like nature heals everything. And we did this, we put the plants on the floor, we put our feet on the plants, we're moving our feet up and down to have the grounding sensation, to have the plants pulsate through our feet. That was amazing. Then we sat back down. The more music started, the fire was just, all of these stories were entwining and unfolding in the fire. It had its own little world going on. There was such magic in that space, such profound magic. then I started to go deep into visions, and it's like ayahuasca visuals. This is what was very baffling for me, to be like, okay, this medicine knows no bounds, knows no limits. Maybe it was because I kept saying to people like ayahuasca is very cosmic-y and San Pedro is very earthly. It was just to shatter my illusion of what I thought was true. And I felt this like dirt in me, like a poisoning of like an oily, inky like taste in my body. And then boom, I purged my brains out, really down to the bottom of my pit of my stomach. And after that, I was spinning, you know, I was in and out of visions. The fire was all over the place. And then at 4 o'clock in the morning, we go downstairs. Where we were on like the ground floor of my friend's beautiful place. I will try find a picture and show everyone at a later point. So we go down the bottom of the stairs where we would normally have the ceremony, but because of the rain was coming down very harshly, we decided to do it in the ground floor of this place. And yeah, we go down and the fire is so big and so glamorous and so beautiful, because in the Temazcal we have the grandfather stones which are in the fire. They become very, very hot. We go into the Temazcal, and the Temazcal is like, it looks like a turtle shell. You go inside of it, it signifies the womb of the mother. Inside of the Temazcal there is like a pit in the middle where you would put the stones. We close the door, we say blessings, we say the prayers, we pour water on this, and it fills up the room with steam. We become very hot and we sweat everything out. But with San Pedro, we don't drink any water. So we do not drink any water with San Pedro. So we're all very, very dehydrated at this point as we go inside the Temazcal. And it gets warm, and I'm like, I'm not sweating. I'm like, do I have anything left in me because I'm dehydrated? That's just the thing what goes through your head, you know. It's like you have to learn how to stay calm and how to control your heartbeat, which is very beautiful, very, very beautiful. It was amazing. And the songs start to sing as we bring each grandfather stone in, and we honor the elements. We even honor the teenage versions of ourselves and around the world, because they're the ones who are having a hard time at the moment, you know. It's really a hard time for especially the younger generation to go through what's going on in the world right now. You know, it's a really confusing time. No one really knows what to believe. No one knows where to put their faith into, who to trust, who not to trust. It's a whole different topic on itself. My opinion on that situation is just like, I'm more of a walker than a talker. I decide to eliminate myself from certain situations, and that's why I'm here, because I don't want to play them games. And I think taking control of your life is the biggest thing you can do, you know. That's why I come back here. So each round goes on, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter as we're all suffering and sweating everything out. But how do you make a sword? You make a sword by constantly putting it into the fire and hammering it. And that's the same as the Temazcal. Each round becomes stronger, and you're making your body become stronger. If you want a cure for the coronavirus, you go inside the sweat lodge in the Temazcal. Everything starts to leave your body. Any viruses you have will just go through your body and disappear, which is what we should always do, you know, that connection back to ourselves. So after this, the next part of the ceremony is to crawl out of the Temazcal. And you crawl on your hands and knees, and it's like being reborn again. It's leaving the womb of the mother, and you start to crawl out. And now the sun is up, and the birds are singing such profound melodies. And you know that when you're on medicine, or if you're able to get into a beautiful state of connection with the earth, you understand that the plants and the bugs will have a melody. And if you're able to tune in and quiet your mind long enough, you're able to understand how the melody is able to come into your body and raise the vibration of yourself. It's very healing. When you hear the birds singing, close your eyes and just try to put your hand to your heart and visualize the healing energy of the animals coming into your body. It's amazing. And after the ceremony, we come out and we drink that first glass of water. I always like to give half of the water to the earth and then drink the rest of the cup, just to be like, okay, I'm suffering, but at the same time, like, I understand sufferings around the world first is a big thing. So to give some back to the earth I think it's an honorable thing to do. And we're all struggling to speak because of what happened. Like, none of us are really making any sense. We can't really form a sentence. A lot of us are just like grunts and smiles and hugging each other and a couple of words here and there, but we're all pretty pretty still in that space of medicine. So it gets too much for me, it gets a little bit too heavy, so I decided to go to the ocean. Now what the ceremony is in a place called Ayompe in Ecuador. So you have jungle and you have ocean, like right next to each other. So I go and walk to the ocean. It's about a 5-minute stroll. I get to the beach and I stand in the ocean, and I'm looking outwards, and you see the ocean, there's an island behind, and then you turn around and you just see pure jungle. To see jungle and the ocean together, it's just amazing. And for me, it's big because a couple of weeks ago, I was in a warehouse. I was hearing the beeps, the sounds, the love from people, the support from people, and also the negativeness from people as well, who live a lot in fear, who are like, it's impossible, you can't leave, you're gonna stay here forever, why'd you do what you do? It's like, I just send, you know, love to them people. It is what it is. We all have our different paths in our life. It is what it is. We all seek different things, and this journey of life is just, it's a gift for us all, you know, to make the best of our situation. Really, it's just a humbling experience to make you grateful for the moment you have. Like, life is a dance, and we must learn how to dance in the chaos of life. It's really just as simple as that. You know, if your dance is no longer serving you, then change it. Sometimes we need to shake our life up a little bit, and this is what I've been doing over the years. My life become mundane, and I just become lost and not happy with what was going on in the direction of my life. It was just, my life previously, up until 2017, was just very egotistical. It was just going to the gym, which is also it's very positive to go to the gym, don't get me wrong. Going to the gym and keeping yourself fit is the key to anything. Like, that is just a way, it's a meditation in itself. Like, going to the gym is like, it's beautiful, but there is extremes where you can take it to when you start to well, my journey was, I was taking a lot of anabolic drugs and overeating everything, and I'd only leave the house in a certain t-shirt, very body conscious. And don't get me wrong, you can live a very healthy life by doing that. Don't get me wrong, there's not a right and a wrong choice, but for my own personal journey, it wasn't doing me any good. I was becoming very, very sick, and that's why I decided to come to South America the first place a few years ago. And again, it's been hard, it's been challenging, because when you start to change yourself, it's like, you know, the shedding of the skin. You know, we must sometimes shed that old skin because we become very sick and we can't breathe no longer. And when we're trying to breathe and we can't, even when we're outside in the air, it's like we can't seem to get that break. You know, it's like being in the ocean and your feet just touch the bottom enough, the wave comes and you have to keep jumping to grab your breath. That's how I felt. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but I'm only talking from my experience. So anyway, this was my my journey into the world of San Pedro, in a world now which is going crazy with the pandemic. I know my country in England has become very, very crazy at the moment. It's to hug someone is frowned upon. You know, that hug is more beneficial than anything else. It's its own medicine. Really, to give someone a hug, heart-to-heart connection, is something which has been taken away from us. And I say no. I say a big fuck you to that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna stand here and say that there is or there isn't a virus for this, because I don't know. I don't have that sort of education. All I know is just I follow my heart and my intuition, and sometimes it leads the wrong way, but majority of the time it sends me to beautiful places like this. Okay, thank you for listening to this video. I wish everyone just a magical year of transformation. From my understanding, this is the year of the great transformation. So stay safe.